Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. A very wonderful shloka we are discussing today. Kamasya nendriya priti labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa nartho yascheh karma bihi. Prabhupada translates this. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. See, one of the main reason why we are here in this material world is for doing sense gratification. We have come here for enjoyment. That's why everyone speaks about enjoyment. Enjoy. We have come here for enjoyment. And Krishna is very merciful. He knows that we are here for enjoyment. Therefore, He has provided us strong senses in the body. Eyes are strong. The nose, the smelling power is strong. The ears are strong. The tongue, extremely strong. You see? Skin, strong. All the 5 senses are strong. And the other 5, that is the working senses, they are also very strong. Hands, legs, speech, rectum and genitals, all of them very strong. And Lord is very merciful. He has provided all these senses, strong senses, and He has given us a lot of sense objects around. And Lord is saying, chalo, enjoy karo. Jitna karna, enjoy karo. Yes, go ahead, enjoy. And therefore we see that everyone in this world is just behind sense gratification. Everyone. Prabhupada is writing in the purport, he says, politics, social service, altruism, philanthropy, ultimately in religion or even in salvation, everyone is just aspiring for sense gratification. And Prabhupada says, voters are giving vote to that person who is promising more sense gratification. And as soon as sense gratification is not satisfied, or dethrone him, we'll get someone else who will give us better sense gratification. So in this way, be it talks in the television or be it some big screen, small screen shows, or be it even discussions amongst common people, the talk or the center of the talk is sense gratification. अभी करे तो क्या करे, जिसके लिए आए उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. Sense gratification. We are here for enjoyment. And therefore we see people in this world, they find out different ways to enjoy. And especially now, in our situation, where especially for the ones who are not practicing spirituality, their senses are completely contaminated. And they don't know also about that. And contaminated senses, they crave for sense gratification. Every now and then it craves for sense gratification. And once the person gets into uncontrolled, indiscriminate sense gratification, can you imagine? The person gets entangled and entangled and entangled, and it goes on. The bondage goes on increasing and increasing and increasing. You take up any materialist, you just see their activities, especially those who are committing a lot of sinful activities. Nowadays, anything that flies, crawls, walks is cut and then is cooked and served as a very nice delicacy. And people like to take all that. It is so obnoxious to see those markets in China and other places where fetus is hanging in the market. Yahan to wo chicken and mutton is hanging. Their fetus is hanging. I saw a snake was also hanging. Bat, they eat bat also. Bat is also hanging. I don't understand. Anything that flies, crawls, walks, runs, we think that I am supposed to eat. I also heard about I don't know which country this is. I heard in a class. There's something called as a grandfather's party. Now, in this grandfather's party, when the grandfather turns to a certain age, say 80 plus or whatever, so that day all the relatives come together and they kill the grandfather, they cook the grandfather and eat him up. I was wondering that how people are ready to go to any extent for sense gratification without thinking that they're getting entangled by all these activities. Just for one's own enjoyment. We're ready to do anything and everything to the other person or anything around. Exploitation to the greatest extent. Just so that I can satisfy all my senses. Gratify all my senses. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 9. Please repeat. Yagyarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. See here in this shloka, Lord is very clear. He says, Yajñarthat karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Anything that you do apart from offering it to me as sacrifice, that particular activity is going to bind you in this material world. It will cause bondage. It will entangle you in this material world. So this is what Lord is saying. Therefore, in the contaminated state, look at the situation where every single sense of the body is craving for sense gratification. And especially a city like this, sinful acts are just going on and on and on. And especially now, since I am into youth preaching, since I talk to a lot of unmarried boys, I realize that with time it is so difficult to maintain celibacy. It is so difficult to maintain purity. And I'm sure the same thing is with the unmarried girls also. And same thing is with other married people as well. Now these co-live PGs and this and that, my God. Our boys used to go to register, our volunteers. They would go into the gents PG and they would register and call those boys for the program. So every Saturday evening we have these programs. Now the news that I get is all the gents PGs are got converted into co-live PGs. And our boys were asking, so Prabhu, hum log jaye ki nahi wahan? Now we feel contaminated, when we go there. So I always tell you, you're going, please come back. Don't settle there. But it's a fact, you see. It's a fact. I'm just giving you one example. We can go on describing about the sinful sense gratification that is going on around. Just one example. How the society is turning into a group of sense gratifiers. What to do? When the senses are contaminated, this is what is the result. This is one end. The other end is when the senses are completely purified. So when the senses are completely purified, every sense it craves for service to Krishna. Contaminated senses, they crave for sense gratification. And here, the senses which are purified, they crave so much. Every moment, they want to serve Krishna. Now this is about the pure devotees. And therefore it is described very beautifully in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Yeah, please repeat. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatmena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Very beautiful shloka. It says when we engage our senses in service of the Lord, we'll get free from all the designations and we'll be completely purified. And in such a state, the person can actually practice or offer Uttama Bhakti, pure devotional service to the Lord. And therefore we see, when it comes to great souls, they'll not waste a single moment in sense gratification. Whatever they will do, they'll always do it for the pleasure of Krishna. Always. You take for example Srila Prabhupada. In the entire life of Srila Prabhupada, will not find Prabhupada wasting a single moment in doing anything for himself. Because that is not there in their system. Because when the senses are purified, the only thing that they know very well is that they are servants of the Lord and that I'm supposed to serve the Lord and nothing else. Therefore, we see that these personalities who serve the Lord every moment using their senses, they proceed towards liberation. In fact, you can also consider them to be liberated. Because it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. They leave the body and go back home, back to Godhead. But those having contaminated senses, who are into sense gratification completely, they're getting bound in this material world. There's no question of liberation for them. So one side, contaminated senses, bondage. Another side, purified senses, liberation. Now the devotees, practicing devotees, now we cannot say their senses are completely contaminated. And practicing devotees like us will also not accept that our senses are purified. If your senses are purified, please forgive me. I'm just considering myself and giving the class. So हम लोग कहीं तो बीच में है ना अभी, ना fully contaminated, ना fully pure. No, we are in between. So now what to do? Are we supposed to do sense gratification, not do sense gratification? I have senses, so I have to gratify the senses. What am I supposed to do? And the answer is that we need to do optimum sense gratification. We should have proper maintenance of these senses. Therefore, optimum amount of sense gratification is needed, no doubt. Yes. And that should be in the boundaries of Vedic scriptures. We cannot gratify our senses the way we want. It should be in the boundaries of Vedic scriptures. Especially even these two categories of people we speak about. The ones who are into sense gratification completely, and the ones who are completely purified. I'm sure all of you might have noticed that there will be some people who glorify people who are doing nice sense gratification. Wow, kya sense gratification karte hain? Amazing. Itna bada ghar hai, itna bada gaadi, and then they go to pub and they go here and they go there. Oh, last weekend they went to this country, and last weekend before that they went to that country. And they had every day, they have wines from different countries. So wonderful. And that is much glorified in the circles where people are into mode of passion and ignorance. Therefore, when sadhakas, when they start practicing devotional service, when they come to bhakti, when they start practicing devotional service, and say they were into all that before, and they had a friend circle like that, and then they get to know, अरे तो भी हर रविवार को मंदिर जाता है. He goes there and he sits and hears pravachan. They start thinking, ये पागल हो गया है. He's gone mad. What the hell is he doing? Life is meant for enjoyment. Why is he wasting his life? When I resigned my job and when I joined Brahmachari Ashram, different people asked me different questions. There was one person who asked me, वो छोड़ के चली गई क्या? मैं बोला अरे कोई नहीं थी ऐसे. No one was there like that. There's another person who asked me, boss तंग कर रहे होंगे ना आपको? Or else, why will you give up such a high-paying job? You're passed out from so and so prestigious college. You got this job. Why will you give it up? And there's some people, concluded he has gone mad. He has gone mad. And I see even so many devotees also sharing that their neighbors and relatives, they say, ये तो चले गए हाथ से, gone case. इसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता. ये पागल हो गए ये लोग. See, people in the mode of passion and ignorance, when they look at people who are practicing bhakti and people who are doing sense gratification, they'll always say the ones who are doing sense gratification, they are amazing. They are best. They'll glorify them. And the ones who are into spiritual practices, they'll say that they are just wasting their life. This is the vision of people in mode of passion and ignorance. Whereas people in the mode of goodness, they will never be able to resonate with sense gratification. See, even if they are not practicing bhakti and say they are having a nice pious background, even today we have some people like that in India. They have a nice pious background, a nice lifestyle of goodness. They might not be doing so much chanting, reading, hearing, etc. But they have a pious background. Even they are not able to resonate, with uncontrolled sense gratification of people in passion and ignorance. Because people in the mode of goodness, in general, they don't glorify sense gratification. They will glorify how much vidya and vairagya this person has got. So they look at, so in spiritual circles we see, that person who has got good realization, higher realization, that person is glorified. That person who has got good renunciation, that person is glorified. But whereas the same person might not be glorified in the circle of sense gratifiers. You can make out that difference easily. So this is the difference between people in the mode of passion and ignorance. They value sense gratification. And people in the mode of goodness, they value vidya and vairagya. Therefore, when we come in the circle of devotees, circle of sadhakas, we shouldn't be discussing about what sort of sense gratification we are doing and how much eager we are to do higher level of sense gratification. That's not a discussion that we people should have. I purchased this, I went there, बहुत मजा आया वहाँ, इन्होंने वो किया, ये किया. Come on, that discussion happens outside also. Why here? What's the need? In some center, I'll not name the center. So one of the boys, he got married to a pious girl. She was not a devotee. She was not part of ISKCON. So he got his wife to Bangalore. And then, since we keep telling in the association of devotees, even a person who is a non-devotee can also become devotee. So what he did is, he sent his wife, you go and associate with all these Matajis are good. He showed a group of Matajis. You associate with these Matajis, they're very nice, they'll be good. And after some time, he told, don't associate with them. Because what he saw was that before her material desires were less, after associating, material desires increased. So she used to come home and she used to tell, it seems, see that Mataji has got a nice necklace, she has got this dress and that dress, she's saying she went here, she went there. So that Prabhu, he came and he said, Prabhu, enough, I'll not send that. Therefore, it's a very important thing to note. By the way, no offense, Matajis. But even Prabhujis भी कम नहीं होते. कहाँ invest किए, क्या खरीदा, कहाँ घर खरीदा, etc., whatever. Yes. But I just got this one example, so I just said that. But in general, one point has to be very clear. In the circle of devotees, if we are glorifying that how best the person is doing sense gratification, what's the point of being in the circle of sadhakas? That's happening even outside. Therefore, in the circle of devotees, what we should speak and what we should glorify is the level of realization the person has got. How do you understand the person has got realizations? How do you understand? The way he acts, the way he lives his life. Then we can make, this devotee, ये सिर्फ चपड़ नहीं करते, ये करते भी है. He executes also, or she executes also whatever he or she is speaking. So the way they are living their life, through that we can make out how much realized the person is. And along with that, renunciation is also very, very important. So when the person, both internal detachment and external renunciation, both are valued in the circle of spiritualists. And both should be valued in the circle of spiritualists. Yes. Therefore, in the association of sadhakas, the thing that should be glorified is vairagya and vidya, and not indriya trupti or sense gratification. That's the point which I'm trying to make here. Now, therefore, when the consciousness goes higher and higher, then the person will shift from sense gratification to self-realization. Now he might be intensely aspiring for sense gratification. Then he shifts from there to intensely aspiring for self-realization. In one of the talk which I had given, a TEDx talk, there I had spoken about 5 levels of consciousness. The lowest level is called as Annamay platform. So on this platform, the person thinks only about food. When I say food, it talks about enjoyment. Only about sense gratification. Ahara, Nidra, Maithun. This is what person thinks at Annamay platform. He thinks, he speaks, and he acts also on that platform. To 2019, I was taking a Gita course in some center. There, one person was attending regularly. After a few sessions, he came to me, he said, I'm stuck in a problem. So what is that? He said, I don't know from where I have got this. Looks like some disease. I like to try every day a different restaurant. A married person, and then he wants to go to different. And he said, Prabhuji, I finished all the restaurants around in this entire area. But just a couple of days back, my youngest daughter, very small she was, she looked at her father while going in the car and said, Papa, we have not tried this restaurant. And that time he said, now I'm realizing, bro, kuch to main galat kar raha hu. Please tell me what am I doing and how to overcome this. So at times people don't realize also what they are doing and how much they are addicted to ahara, nidra and maithun. That is food, sleep and sex. At times they don't realize. And that level is called as Annamaya Kosh or Annamaya consciousness level. Lowest level, that is, lowest. And as the consciousness grows higher, so the person comes to a platform where now he starts thinking about life. It's not just about eating, sleeping and mating. He also starts thinking about how to protect oneself. That's called as Pranamaya, level of Pranamaya, where he starts thinking that I should protect myself. Now the aspect of Bhaya comes into picture. But still, all these four, Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya and Maithun, all these four are animalistic instincts. At a very, very low level of consciousness, these four is what manifests. And as the person grows higher, then he comes to the platform of Manomaya or Jnanamaya Kosh. Now he starts thinking more than gross sense gratification. Now he aspires for mental satisfaction. Till now it was gross sense gratification, Annamaya and Pranamaya. And now he starts aspiring for mental satisfaction. Many times we hear from people that I've got everything in my life. Only mental satisfaction is not there. Can you please help me? At times people come to our centers also searching for satisfaction, peace, etc. That's Manomaya. And then comes Vijnanamaya Kosh. See, till now the person is still in the mode of sense gratification. Annamaya, Pranamaya and Manomaya, still he is in the mode of sense gratification. But when Vijnanamaya comes, I mean when the consciousness goes higher to this level called Vijnanamaya, then he starts asking question, who am I? Where am I? What's happening in my life? Why am I suffering? Or why people in this world are suffering? And what after death? These questions will come at the level of Vijnanamaya. Now just imagine when Krishna is saying, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sahamatma Sudurlabha. When Krishna is saying this, that a person who has accepted that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead is everything, he is Durlabha, not just Durlabha, Sudurlabha. So when he's saying this, that he's Sudurlabha, very, very rare, then one thing that we need to understand is, why is he calling it very rare? Because after many, many lifetimes, person grows and comes to the platform of Vijnanamaya. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya or Jnanamaya and Vijnanamaya. At the level of Vijnanamaya, he starts asking question. There, Athatho Brahma Jigyasa will manifest. Then he starts inquiring about the higher truths of life. And then when he gets completely convinced of the truth of life, then he aspires higher and higher, gets into the path of self-realization. He realizes that he is not the body, spirit, soul. And then finally comes to the platform of Anandamaya, where he realizes who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is my relationship with him, and what am I supposed to do in that relationship. He becomes very clear on that platform. And on the platform of Anandamaya, his entire goal of life is just to serve Krishna, nothing else. So in this way, when the consciousness goes higher and higher, you see, it goes from the most rock bottom thing, that is sense gratification, to the highest thing of God realization. Self-realization and God realization. Therefore, this transition is very, very important, from the lower level of consciousness to higher level of consciousness. But you know what? Animals who are always on the lower level of consciousness, for them it is very, very difficult to come to the higher levels of consciousness. Tell me, animals max till what they can go up to? Which level of consciousness? But till pranamaya, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitho, these 4 activities they're busy doing. Yes. So therefore it is described that only in a human form of life it is possible to transition from the lowest level of consciousness to the highest level of consciousness. Therefore a very beautiful shloka which comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, please repeat. Nrideham madhyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam mayanukulena nabhasvateritam puman bhavabdim nataretsa atmaha. Here Srimad Bhagavatam, हिंदी में गाली कहते हैं ना, गाली देना, that is there in this. गाली दिया जा रहा है. Such a person, he is murderer of himself. That's the last line. Nataretsa atmaha, atmaha. He is murdering himself. Who is that person who is murdering himself? First line says, Nrideham. Nrideha, the one who has got human form. Nrideham Adyam Sulabham Sudurlabham. See, all of us sitting here, we have not endeavored much to get human form. किसी ने मेहनत किया था क्या human form पाने के लिए? Anyone? None of us have done any hard work to get a human form. Naturally, from animal species, slowly you come up, and then after going through 80 lakh species, then you come to the 4 lakh human species, and in that you go higher and higher, from uncivilized to civilized. Yes. So we have not done any hard work to get this. Therefore, it is a sulabham. Very easily we have got. At the same time, it is said sudurlabham. Durlabham nahi keh rahe. Sudurlabham. Durlabham means rare. Sudurlabham means very rare. Why is it very rare? I think all of you have understood. Only in human form one can go from lower level of consciousness to the highest level of consciousness. And this human form is also very special. And it is compared to plavam. Plavam means boat. Plavam. Boat. This human form is compared to a boat. See, all of us, all the living entities, we are stuck in Bhavasagara. Suna hoga na Bhavasagara. We keep hearing about this. So we all are stuck in this Bhavasagara. But only a human form is a boat. All other forms are just drowning. Only human form is a boat. अभी बोट के अंदर खुद अगर छेद करेगा तो I cannot speak anything on that. And that is sense gratification. खुद के बोट में होल कर दो and then डूब जाओ उसमें. Yes. We're not talking about such people. We're talking about the ones who have some brain substance. Yes. Boat. So this body is compared to plavam. And how is this plavam? How is this boat? Sukalpam. Very nice. Very nicely built boat. Sukalpam. Okay. So that this boat nicely plies over the ocean. So someone should give me direction. And who is that captain on the ship? Guru Karnadharam. The Guru. The Guru who comes in our life. For us, it's A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He has given us a direction. Guru Karnadharam. And what is he repeating? He's repeating the instructions of the Supreme Lord. And Lord is saying, Mayanukulena nabhasvateritam. My instructions are like favorable winds which helps the boat to go in a particular direction. So can you imagine? Everything is set in life. We have got a boat. On that there is a captain. And the captain has given us direction. And since we are going in proper direction, as instructed by the Lord, Lord's instructions are like those favorable winds which are naturally pushing the boat towards a proper destination. And then it is said, Uman bhavabdim nataretsa atmaha. Those people who don't utilize this boat properly, they are the ones who are killer of themselves. Atmaha, they're murdering themselves, committing suicide. Now with this we can understand easily that human form is meant to cross over this Bhavasagara. It's not meant to be here in this Bhavasagara and keep drowning in this Bhavasagara. So all the people around whom you see doing sense gratification, you can easily imagine. They're like those people who are having some weapon in the hand and they're making holes in the boat. Hum nahi terenge upar. We don't want the boat to ply very smoothly on the ocean. We want to go inside. and experience that also, what it means to go inside the waters. They are those foolish people, and that's what Bhagavatam is saying. Therefore, this human form of life is such a rare opportunity that a person can go from lower level consciousness to the highest level of consciousness and cross over this ocean of birth and death. Therefore, again and again in Bhagavatam you will see, again and again it is said that life is not meant for sense gratification. It is meant for a higher purpose. And sometimes people keep wondering, what is higher purpose? You will understand the higher purpose only when you come together like this in the association of devotees and directly hear from Srimad Bhagavatam these heavy shlokas which opens our eyes and Arey baap re, main to murderer nahi hu na? I hope my boat is intact. I hope there are no holes in the boat. Therefore, it's very important to maintain this body. ऐसे नहीं कि we are now part of some spiritual circle and therefore I'll do whatever, it's okay. Goal is to attain Krishna. So it's okay even if this body goes for a toss, if this body is harmed. No, it's not proper. This body has to be maintained. I was told this body is a boat. Now, if this boat is not proper, how can this boat smoothly sail over the ocean? How is it possible? I mean, if we don't have a healthy body, where is the question of doing uninterrupted devotional service? How is it possible? Not possible. Little fever we get, we know what happens. Yes. And just imagine, carelessly, okay, if prarabdha karma is there, then what can be done? But from our side, we are supposed to try to keep this body proper. I had a very strong realization once. Someone asked me this question. Prabhu, जो दारू पीता है वो अपने पैसे से दारू पी रहा है. So what is the problem? Why that is called as sinful? He is not harming anyone. He is just drinking alcohol. He is happy also after drinking alcohol. So what's the problem? What's the problem? What's the answer? See, one point is very clear, and the person intakes those substances which are not necessary for the body. We call that as intoxication, intoxicants. So that harms the body, like Mataji said. It harms the body, and as rightly said, it breaks the regulative principle. Yes. So now, when this body is harmed, we say it is sinful. Why? Because this body does not belong to us. Oh, then whom does it belong to? Whom does it belong to? Yes, it belongs to Guru and Krishna. Yes. Now, who gave us the right to harm this body? In spiritual circles, when we have to write our name on something, how do we write? Say, this laptop, so I have to stick a sticker, say, and I'm supposed to write my name. So I'll write my name as ICO Kartikeya Das. ICO means in the care of. And below, my name, Kartikeya Das. So in our ashram, Brahmacharya ashram, so when we write our names on the plate or glass or whatever, so in that, it's written like that, ICO and the person's name. In the care of. Similarly, this is, you can put a stamp, maybe here. Yes, in the care of Kartikeya Das. So this body is in the care of me. So kiska body hai? Who has given this? And Krishna is saying, this is mine. Bhumi rapo analo mayu kham mano buddhi reva chahankara mitiyam me bhinna prakriti rashtada. This body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. And those are my separated energy, Krishna is saying. So this body belongs to Krishna. And anyone who tries to harm this body, then that is sinful. Then suddenly when I was speaking this point, I realized that particular day, oh, even I am harming my body by not maintaining it properly. So I am also committing a sinful act. Yes. Therefore, every single sadhaka should focus on maintaining the body also. Therefore, Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, please repeat. Yuktahara viharasya Yukta cheshtasya karmasu Yukta swapnava bodhasya Yogo bhavati dukkhaha. So when it comes to circle of sadhakas, We want to get up early in the morning because that's in the mode of goodness. And we'll sleep late at night, very much late, in the name of service. Now in this what happens is, there is no yukta swapnava bodhasya. That is, there is no sufficient rest to the body. Yes. And then it is said yukta ahara. There should be yukta ahara. Proper quantity of food should be taken. Yukta ahara. Yukta vihara. A good regulated recreation. And for us, recreation is coming together like this. In Bhagavatam class, in various different kirtan melas, singing and dancing for the pleasure of the Lord. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. That is regulated work for maintaining the body. Not that the person goes to office early in the morning, Brahma Murta, and comes back next day, Brahma Murta. No. You might be glorified in the office for that. Oh, he works so wonderful. 4 to 4. 4 a.m. to 4 a.m. But that's not glorified in Bhagavad Gita. It's very clear. If you want to work, yukta, it has to be regulated. And also, it is very nicely said, if all these things are maintained, ahara, vihara, karma, and even sleep, nidra, when all these things are taken care properly, then the body is maintained properly. See, therefore we say Bhagavad Gita is such a wonderful life manual. If someone wants to learn about lifestyle, there is some verses for that also. Such a wonderful thing. So when we devotees speak about it, it's our responsibility to implement also. Yes. Therefore, when it comes to food, optimum amount of food, what is needed to maintain the body? How much food is needed? It depends. Person to person. It changes from person to person. We cannot label. अरे कितना खाते हो? अरे तू अपना काम करना उसके प्लेट में क्यों देख रहा है तू? That is his appetite. Yes. Maybe you're not blessed to eat so much. Okay, eat whatever is the optimum amount for yourself. But sleep is something that is common for everyone. Yes. 6 to 7 hours. That's it. There's no need of more than that. 6 to 7 hours is enough. Yes. And especially it is described, the sleep time is also very, very important. It is described that when you sleep from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m., yes, that night 3 hours, the body gets the rest of 6 hours, it seems. Science has done this research and it says that those 3 hours of sleep will give you 6 hours of rest. From night 12 to 3, if someone sleeps. So that gives the rest of 3 hours only. And from 3 to 6, 3 hours, but then the rest that body gets is 1.5 hours, it seems. And I heard after that there is no rest. My God. Yes. So you should have some siddhi, to be throughout night shift and then still be awake and healthy. Yes. So it's a very important thing that one should make sure that one's ahara, vihara, and karma, the chesta that the person does, to maintain his body, nidra, all that has to be yukta, because finally this body is meant for service of the Lord. And along with that, obviously, Krishna is describing about Ashtanga Yoga also in 6th chapter. And many devotees, they try doing asanas and pranayam, which helps the devotees to maintain their body. That is also needed. Yes. Now, so many senior brahmacharis are speaking about doing yogasanas. Because it's very important to have a very smooth sadhana till the last breath. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि बीच में collapse हो गए. It has to be smooth. For that, it is very important. Therefore, when we go in front of the Lord and when we pray for good health, it is described that is not material. That is spiritual when you have the goal to utilize the body for service of the Lord. That becomes spiritual. Therefore, when we pray that, please bless me with a good health, please bless that devotee with a good health, it's not a material desire. It will be a spiritual desire if that body is used in service of the Lord. Therefore, one thing is very clear, that the goal of life should be very clear. That why are we maintaining our body? Obviously, when it comes to outsiders, they go to yoga classes, they go to gym and other places just so that they can intensify their sense gratification. Yes. Drink more, eat more. Yes. Have more sex. Just do whatever you want. Now, this is why people want to stay healthy. But when it comes to devotees, that's not the case. We want to stay healthy because we want to serve the Lord, do our sadhana without any interruption, unnecessary interruption. Yes. Therefore, goal is not sense gratification, but goal is attaining Krishna Prem. So how much are we aspiring to attain Krishna Prem? Abhi Krishna Prem to abhi hai time uske liye. But before that, we need to cultivate taste for the different angas of bhakti, like chanting, reading, hearing. In one of the interviews, since we have interviews here, Shiksha Bhakti Steps interviews. So one interviewer was telling me that there's one candidate, I don't know which level of Bhakti Steps he was applied for. So he was asked, so aapka regularly reading hota hai? You do regular reading? And he said, yeah, whatever comes on WhatsApp, I read. I hope we don't have such devotees sitting here. Whatever comes on WhatsApp, whatever devotees forward quotes and whatever keeps coming, I read that. And the small clips of Prabhupada audio, I hear that. Nahi, aise sab nahi chalega. One question was asked to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. I was there in that assembly. Brahmachari asked this question. Maharaj, it was in Mira Road in 2018. Maharaj, how to get taste for reading? And Maharaj said, by reading. And the entire crowd went mad laughing. Maharaj is reading. See, if you want to develop taste for something, I don't know how it feels to take alcohol, but I've heard. Yes. If someone wants to develop, it's not a suggestion, by the way. Don't take it. हाँ प्रभु जी ने कुछ कहा लिख लो notes में लिख लो. Yes. If someone wants to develop taste for drinking alcohol, maybe initially he might not like, since everyone's taking out of peer pressure, he might drink it. But then when he keeps taking and taking and taking, then he becomes a drunkard. Yes. And he is the one who feels, oh, so sweet, so nice. Similarly, if you want to develop taste, initial taste I'm talking about, obviously taste at the higher level, that is the Ruchi platform is different. But I'm talking about the taste at lower level. If you want to develop some taste for chanting, reading, hearing, we should do that activity more. And we should do it properly and consistently. Then we'll develop some taste in that particular Ranga of Bhakti. Therefore, more we sit like this and hear, more we come together and do study of Shastra, more we come together and chant Hare Krishna. I heard here in the center once in a month. Yes. So you all are coming together and doing Mangalarti and sitting together and chanting. Very glorious. So if we can do all this, then we develop taste. And with that little taste, then we can keep proceeding on the path of devotional service. Therefore, the first thing that we need to develop is taste. And how do we do that? By consistently practicing that particular Ranga of Bhakti in which you want to develop taste. And obviously, one thing is very clear, that without mercy of the Lord, we cannot develop that taste to a very, very great level. Not possible. So you do the activity and you also pray to Krishna that please bless me so that I develop some taste. And another very, very important thing in the association of devotees is service attitude. If we don't have service attitude, we cannot advance in bhakti. How do we get service attitude? How to cultivate service attitude? Yes? By doing service, simple. There was one disciple of Prabhupada. This is not there in document. It's not documented, but Prabhupada disciples speak about this pastime. So Prabhupada entered the hall and so many devotees were there. They all paid obeisance. Only one person was standing straight. Prabhupada said, why are you not paying obeisance? And that person said, I don't feel like. Prabhupada said, keep paying obeisance, you'll feel like doing it. So through that pastime, we can understand one thing, that we may like it or we don't like something. We should do it as an austerity. And we'll be blessed. We'll be blessed with the taste to continue doing the same throughout our life. And actually it's austerity. At the lowest level of consciousness, it's an austerity. Therefore, I see sometimes devotees somehow finish the round and just put all the Sakshi Mala down and hang it somewhere. Now tomorrow only I'll see. I'm sure all of you might have had this experience. It's night, say 10 o'clock, and say 15 rounds are remaining. किस-किस को experience हाथ उठाइए? Okay. सबको होगा. And we know that how quality that chanting is. Lord will also think, कौन सा मंत्र chant कर रहा है तू? Is this Hare Krishna Mahamantra or some other mantra? Fuspus hi hi, fuspus hi hi. On a very serious note, we need to think about all this. And, if you really want to develop service attitude, we have to continue doing it even if we don't like doing something. Yes. Even if we don't like to do a particular service, still we have to do it when it is assigned to us. And especially when we are serving. I don't think I need to explain here. You all do wonderful services here. Whenever some service is assigned, end to end, that service should be done. ऐसे नहीं कि कोई देख नहीं रहा है तो बीच में छोड़ के भाग जाओ. For sure, the person will not develop service attitude with that. Some service is given by service authority, your mentor or whoever it is. We do that service end to end, report to that devotee back that Prabhuji, I have done this service, and then take leave. Then with time, when the devotee is so committed, sincere, consistent, he'll be able to develop service attitude. So with taste in the angas of bhakti and the attitude of service, then the person can get closer and closer and closer to the ultimate goal of life, that is Krishna Prema. Now many times devotees ask, Prabhuji, how to give up sense gratification? Because that is the most critical thing that haunts us like anything. Because of that only I'm not able to proceed. See, first and foremost thing that we should do is contemplate. Contemplate, a very important point. Sense gratification is available for me, but it's available for even animals. Rishabdev is telling this in Canto 5, Chapter 5, Shloka 1. He says, Nayam deho deha bhajam niloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbhujam ye tapo divyam putraka jena sattvam shuddhet yasmad brahma saukhyam tamanantam. Have you heard this shloka from Prabhupada? Tapo divyam. Prabhupada chants this line multiple times. Tapo divyam. This is a very graphical description. It says that why are you so much behind sense gratification? Sense gratification is available even to dogs and hogs. And to make it more graphical and more descriptive, it is said, the sense gratification is available even to dogs and hogs who eat stool. They can imagine, hog eating stool. Usko bhi sense gratification mil raha hai. And I am also hankering for sense gratification. So what's the difference between me and that animal? What's the difference? So first is contemplate. That if my goal of life is only for sense gratification. My goal of life is only to do sense gratification. But that is what animals are also doing. Is there something that I'm supposed to do more? This is the contemplation. First is contemplation. Second is to understand. Because someone might say that, see Prabhuji, all that is there, but I like sense gratification. I've contemplated enough, but it's good to do sense gratification. I like it. Then one should understand, bhai, this is not permanent, this is temporary. It is not permanent, it's temporary. And Krishna is telling this in Bhagavad Gita. Very beautiful shloka. Please repeat. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. See here Krishna is saying, nateshu ramate buddha. The ones who have some brain substance, or the ones who are intelligent, will not get into this all activities of sense gratification. Why they will not get into the acts of sense gratification? Because they understand adya antavanta. Because they understand that it has a start and it has an end. It is temporary. So person might say, "Mujhe acha lagta hai sense gratification. I want to do it indiscriminately." You will be maybe able to do it. Not sure. May or may not. But say you try hard. Even if you're able to do, but the problem is, it's temporary. That's the understanding that we need to have. So contemplate, then try to understand. And someone might say, Prabhuji, temporary to temporary, thoda to mil raha hai. There's some people like that also. Thoda, and then they'll give example also. Boond boond se gad bharta hai. So with time, thoda sense gratification, I'll become happy. No. Then you should foresee. Foresee that will this activity which I'm doing, the sense gratificatory activity, will this give me only temporary happiness or will it also gives misery? We have to foresee and see that are we going to get only temporary happiness or even misery is there in that. Another graphical example Prahlad Maharaj gives in 7th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, Yan maithunadi grahamedi sukham hituchham kanduvanena karayo iva dukkha dukkham tripyanti neha kripana bahu dukkha bhaja kanduti van manasijam vishaheta dhira. I don't understand how these great personalities, they know what are the things that we can connect to. Understanding that, they give all these shlokas and make us understand very clearly what is life and what are the activities that we are doing in our life. For sense gratification, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, sense gratification is like itching. Khujli karna. Itching. Yes. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying that, see, sometimes, when you get an itch and you itch, it feels nice, no? Yes or no? It gives some pleasure. But just imagine person is itching. Will that give him pleasure? When the blood starts coming out, will that give him pleasure? And here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, itch might give you some pleasure. But then, remember, the same itch will lead to misery. And therefore Prahlad Maharaj is saying, tolerate. Tolerate the sensation of itch. Don't get into itching activity. Don't get into the activity of sense gratification. Therefore, in this way, we see, if we contemplate, even lower animals have this activities of sense gratification. They have facilities of sense gratification. I'm special, I shouldn't be doing that. But little sense gratification is okay. Then we understand that it's actually very little, it's very temporary. For newcomers, we give this example of burger. Bada bun upar or bada bun niche, and the content is little in between. Yes, that's exactly what is the happiness of this world. You work hard, you work very hard, and then little happiness in between. Yes, that's temporary happiness or little happiness. And very important to foresee that same activity is going to lead to misery. Now, if someone is convinced with this, then we can tell him the next thing, that now purify your senses. If you really want to get rid of sense gratification, purify your senses. And how do we purify our senses? Very simple. In spiritual circles, we understand this very clearly. We purify our senses by engaging our senses in service of the Lord. Like Ambrish Maharaj did. Ambrish Maharaj did this very wonderfully. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo Vacham Sivaikuntha Gunanu Varnane Karo Harer Mandira Marjinadishu Shrutim Chakara Chutasat Kathodaye. So he is saying, or Ambrish Maharaj's activities are described very beautifully, that Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. When you're making notes, you can write like that, mind and equal to. So what was he doing with his mind? Meditating on Krishna. First thing, mind. Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. Speech and the arrow. What was he doing with his speech? He was glorifying the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Lord. Mana and then Vacha, walk. And then what was he doing? Karo Harer Mandira Marjinadishu. Using his hands, he was cleaning the temple. Yes. That's a very glorious service, to clean the temple, wash the vessels, and clean the entire place. Use the hands for that. Ambrish Maharaj was doing it. Karo Harer Mandira Marjinadishu. Shrutim Chakara. What was he doing with his ears? He was hearing the glories of the Lord. And then it is described. Please repeat. Mukunda Laya Darshane Drisho Tradbhritya Gatra Sparshenga Sangamam Granam Chatatpada Saroja Saurabhe Srimat Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite. Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drishya. With these eyes, take darshan of the Lord. For that, you have to come to temple. Yes. Or you should have a temple at home. So take darshan of the Lord with these eyes. So eyes, taking darshan of the Lord. Tadbhritya gatra sparshenga sangamam. Use your entire sensation of touch to serve the devotees. Serve the devotees by using your body in whatever way possible. Yes. Granam cha tatpada saroja saurabe. Smell the flowers offered to the Lord. So therefore, after Aarti, the flowers are given. Smell the flowers which are offered to the Lord. Shrimat tulasya rasanam tadarpite. Taste the tulsi leaves. There is taste prasadam. The bhoga that is offered to the Lord. Taste prasadam. That is with the tongue. What about other senses? And it is described. Please repeat. Padav hare kshetra padhanu sarpane. Shiro rishikesha padabhivandane. Kamam chadasye natu kama kamyaya. Yatha uttama shloka janashraya ratihi. Legs he was using for walking towards the temple. No problem. You come in your car, bike, no problem. And after parking, anyways, you're going to walk. Yes. So walking towards the temple, using the legs. And then Shiro Rishikesha Padabi Vandane, using the head for offering obeisances. And then Kamam Chadasya Natu Kama Kamyaya. That is, my desires should be in line with the desires of that of the Lord. Like this, the great personalities who have taken shelter of the Lord, they develop rati towards the Lord. So in this way, we'll be able to purify the senses by engaging our senses in service of the Lord. I say, ekdam list bana ke we can keep ticking every day. Did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? It's a good abhyasa. It's a good practice. Because after all, as I described in the start of the class, contaminated senses, purified senses. हम लोग बीच में लटके हुए. And obviously we have no plans to go back. We want to go forward now. To go forward. So now we have to plan our day by nicely engaging our senses in service of the Lord. And finally, when we are engaging our senses in service of the Lord, we should pray. As I already mentioned, we should pray for higher taste. अगर sense gratification छोड़ना है, तो कुछ higher taste चाहिए उसके लिए. It's very important. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is making this statement. This is the last shloka for today. He says, please repeat. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina raso varjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Param drishtva nivartate. There's the line, which is again and again quoted by Srila Prabhupada and so many devotees. Only when we get higher taste in Krishna consciousness, then we can give up the lower ones. And the higher taste, please remember, it's a gift given by the Lord and the great souls, the great devotees. So we should pray for the gift. Normally we don't ask for the gift. Gifts are just given. But in Krishna consciousness, we pray for it. That please bless me. Please bless me with taste for chanting the holy names of the Lord, to read and hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to serve the Vaishnavas. We pray for the taste. And the ones who are blessed with the higher taste, they are on autopilot mode. Chalta rahega unka. Unki gaadi chalti rahegi. For them, there is no break in between. Because now they're doing it with taste. No one is forcing them. So these are few things, that we can do. These are 5 things that I could think of. To give up sense gratification. Contemplate. Contemplate that how even the lower animals get sense gratification. So why I should also get into such indiscriminate sense gratification. Understand that whatever pleasure we get from that sense gratification is very limited and temporary. Foresee what? That same activity of sense gratification will lead to misery. So do I really want misery? We can foresee. Understanding all that, we should take a call of purifying our senses, engaging all our senses in service of the Lord, and we should pray to the Lord for higher taste. So in conclusion, the only thing that I would like to say here is, we need to maintain this body. This body that is given to us is a gift And as I described today, it's a boat. So we need to maintain this body for attaining Krishna Prem, not for sense gratification. And that's what today's shloka spoke about. Kamasya nendriya priti labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa nartho yascheha karma bihi. This human form is not meant to aspire for sense gratification, but this human form is meant for tattva jigyasa, to understand the higher truth. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.